I want to bring in our first guest, though. He's an attorney. Actually, it's perfect for what we talk about every day on the show. Luke, since you've been on the show about a month or so, how many business owners have you seen on this show so far?
Man, at least like one a day.
At least.
Yeah.
And one of the things they always talk about is controlling cost, because no business owner wants any unexpected line item, because that can make the difference when you either keep the doors open that month or you don't. So when it comes to your legal affairs, you got to have the right man involved,
especially
or woman.
When you're a startup.
That's right. Right person involved, and you got to come in at the right price. Scott Reib is with us. He's a CEO and the founder and senior counsel of Scott Reib, a Reib law firm, I guess, right?
That's right, Brian.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Well, we were talking before the show, and you provide a service to business owners, and let's talk about that service and why it's so important that they have someone like you on their side all the time, not just when you need them, but always there for them.
Right. Yeah, the service you're talking about is our access plan, and the access plan gives small business owners the ability to have counsel on demand or on call, just like Fortune 500 companies have. And so by having that, they get real-time information so they can make their decisions without having to incur another cost. Right? It's on a fixed monthly fee, so you can put it in your budget, you know what it is, and you're no longer scared to call your lawyer, because what do you think about when you call your lawyer?
Oh.
Money flying out of your pocket, right? So we've taken away that fear, and now we have relationships with our clients where we're talking to them on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to make sure they stay between the legal lines, and when there is an emergency, we can jump in quick and help them take care of it.
You've got a really interesting story how you got started. Will you share that with us real quick?
Sure. Yeah, back in 91 when I got out of college, I had this marketing degree. I was really excited to get out and start marketing, and they said, great, here's a copier sales job. I'm like, well, that's not really marketing. So I kept looking, still couldn't find a real marketing job, ended up with a major telecom company in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, and was selling aftermarket systems for phones. That was back kind of at the dawn of the voicemail and all these modules you could add onto phones. It was a great job. I found a thing in their system where I could help people extend their warranties on these products, and it was like mailbox money. And when they figured out how I was doing it, they took it away from me, gave it to a minimum wage employee, and my money was gone. They then sent me down to southeast Oklahoma. We're part of the state of Oklahoma. I'm not sure they even had phones back in 91.
Sure.
There was no way for me to make any money. And so I decided this was never going to happen again. I wasn't going to get taken advantage of in a business deal. So I went to law school.
Luke probably wasn't around back in 91.
No.
I don't think you were. Back in 91, there was a lot of telecom companies. They had WorldCom, they had LCI, right. They had companies that aren't even in existence now. That was a very competitive time in that industry. So them doing something to you like that was them trying to get that competitive edge. And it was wrong, because it took basically your idea and what you were doing. So you went to law school.
Yep. I headed off to the University of Oklahoma, spent 3 years there, great 3 years in Norman, and came out a lawyer.
A lawyer. And you've made it a part of your business plan to help small guy, and small business is defined by how much?
It's around 250,000, a startup, to 20 million. Somehow 20 million is still a small business. I'd love to have that small business.
Sure. Yeah, I would love to show me small business that did 20 million last year, and I would love to be a part of that. So you've made it a purpose to kind of go out and help the little guy to the big guy, if you will, on everyday legal stuff. Can you kind of give me an example of a typical client and how they're using your services?
Sure. And we have a very wide range of clients. For instance, we work with some doctors and medical practices. We work with some home builders and general contractors. And then we even work with on the online business where you have mommy bloggers, you have fitness coaches online. In fact, one of our clients is a fitness coach online. He's out of Miami. And when he came on, he was doing some modeling and things like that. And he had a contract come in that normally he would have just signed. But he remembered, hey, I just signed up as an Access client. I need to send that to Scott's team. He sent that contract in. The team marked it up, sent it back, and he's like, I'm not signing that. You all saved me $20,000 because I did not sign that contract. And it was just things that he just didn't know, right? When you're in business, you may be a really good technician at what you do, but you don't know what you don't know. And the way you fill that in is with other professionals. And so we try to bring that price down to make it affordable so that you can get those answers, make sure you're not signing bad deals.
There you go. The website is reiblaw.com. That's REIBLAW, reiblaw.com. That's a great example because I think about all of the digital like influencer contracts, modeling contracts, or brand ambassador contracts. You work all those up.
Do all those.
There you go. I like it. Because I was just kind of thinking more of your mom and pop brick and mortar, but you're right. There's much more probably small business that are cloud based and social media based.
In today's world, a lot of people the entrepreneurs are working out of their spare bedroom. It's really it's a great environment for small business because if you have a laptop or maybe even just a really good tablet, I mean, you can start a business. It's just not that big of a barrier to entry anymore.
You can do it. All right, we'll take a break, come more about that. Plus, I've been out traveling quite a bit, San Francisco, Chicago, D.C. Why? Well, the group that I've been traveling with is actually here in the studio. We'll talk about Women's Leadership Live and Where Women Create magazine. We'll do that when we come back. Stick around.
620 AM, KEXB, Experts in Business in North Texas.
All right, welcome back. Scott Reib is our guest.
Welcome to reiblaw.com. At reiblaw.com, it is our mission to provide you with excellent legal services and information so that you can get back to what really matters, your family.
And that's what matters, is going back and running your business. Great first block of the show. And I love we talked about your background, how you got started, the services that you offer. But now let's focus in on, we have a lot of young entrepreneurs that come on this show, people that are just starting to launch their company. And they really need to make sure coming out from the gate, they set it up right. And that's one of the things you do, like make the decision. Am I LLC or am I a sole proprietor? Like, how do I form my company? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's right. I call that the foundation of the business. You have to establish that right foundation before you can grow. And a question I get a lot is, when do I do that? And the answer is now. If you're asking the question, you do it now. You don't wait till you hit a certain revenue number. That's how you start. If you're building a house, you start with the foundation. A business, you start with LLC, corporation. You make your choice and you go.
How do you make that choice? What are the questions you ask yourself?
My preference is the LLC. There's a couple of reasons. The first is that in an LLC, the members or the owners of the LLC aren't responsible for the debts and liabilities of the business, right? I love that. You don't want that. The other thing is, it's the most flexible entity as far as taxation, right? You're going to pay taxes as a business owner. It's kind of how you keep score. We want to pay as little as possible. This gives your CPA, your tax professional, the most flexibility because it's what the IRS calls a check-the-box entity. You can pick, I want to be taxed as a sole proprietor, I want to be taxed as a partnership, I want to be taxed as a sub-S corporation, or even a big C corporation if your tax professional tells you it makes sense. You can't do that with any other entity. In the LLC, you can. So that's the two main reasons I think you should use an LLC as a startup business.
And I love the fact that you don't just, give people an LLC and they're out the door. You actually provide them with additional documentation and paperwork needed to make the transactions.
Yeah, we found it in the marketplace. People think they can get their LLC started for very little money, and there's lots of places online or even other paraprofessionals are doing it. The problem is they're getting this legal entity that they don't know how to use. And so we started adding in what we call a quick start package. And in that package, you get your entity, your LLC, your corporation. We then coach you through how you open your bank account. How do you sign contracts? And then we also make sure you don't leave our office without that customer agreement so that you start out in business with the right foundation. You've got an LLC and you've got a well-written agreement that isn't so unfriendly that no one will sign it. That's another thing I see a lot. Is these horrible contracts that no one in their right mind would sign. So we make sure they're friendly, but they have enough teeth to protect you as a new entrepreneur.
I like that. Because you'd imagine getting something across your desk, and you gave a great example in the last block about, before I sign this, just glance over it, and you found that it was probably a horrible document for that guy to sign.
Oh, yeah, we see. Yeah, it's scary what we see.
Yeah, there you go. The website is reiblaw.com, reiblaw.com. That's REIBLAW. There you go. Did you have
I was just thinking, a lot of people, especially a lot of young, new entrepreneurs who have a great business model and ideas, they often don't understand how predatory some people can be and how limited their options can be. if they don't get in with the right people.
Yeah. With intellectual property and things like
Right.
that, ideas. Let's expand on that.
Yeah, so if you're a new entrepreneur and you have some great idea, the next best thing, then you have to do a couple things. One, you need to always be using a non-disclosure agreement whenever you share that idea. And that can be tough because some big players don't want to sign the non-disclosure
They don't want to.
agreement, right? But don't share your idea unless they've signed it. And so the way you get that is you engage with a lawyer. Make sure you have a good document that will protect your ideas. And then the next step would be maybe your idea is something you can patent. Well, let's go ahead and get started in that patent process. Let's get a provisional patent on file. Then you have 12 months to get your real one. Maybe you're trying to get some venture capital to help pay for that.
Sure.
There's some small things you can do. Maybe it's just trade secret, and we can help you make sure you're documenting the way that's done so that it's protected so that no one can take that away from you.
I always heard, this is years ago, and please tell me if this will not work.
Okay.
If you think of a great idea, write it down and mail it to yourself or timestamp it.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that this?
That's
Is that
kind
happening?
that's kind of a shaky way of doing it.
Yeah, it does prove that you actually created it or wrote it down at that
On
time.
that down, yeah.
And so for that point, it's a good step to do, but it doesn't give you any protection. Say you've got a trademark that you want to do, or maybe you've written a song or some code and you write it down that way. That doesn't protect you. Your protection is when you register it with the United States Copyright Office or Trademark Office. Now there are common law, copyright, and trademark, and there's some protections you get. But if you want to be able to stop anyone from taking your stuff, you've got to file those with the proper office. It's not that hard. It's not that expensive. If it's a real business and not a hobby, then you need to protect it.
Oh,
I'm a songwriter, and I always copyright all my albums that I put on iTunes and stuff.
Yep.
I always do it through the U.S. Copyright Office, about $55 for a whole collection. You can put 20, 30 songs on there, and it'll be like $55.
So especially if you have a business that deals with the public, I told you before the break, I'd been in the frozen custard business for a number of years. I had a stop and desist order from Culver's frozen custard because I had named one of my product after a product they had the agreement to, but they weren't marketing at the time, but they at least owned the right to this particular word. So I stopped. But man, and if you do a service, you got to have an attorney on your side all the time because you're dealing with the public, and a lot of people have really some bad motives when it comes down to it.
Yeah, if you're doing business to consumer, I don't see how you don't have regular counsel on that. Business to business, it's important as well. But most of the lawsuits that we're scared of are those ones where it's the angry individual that just for whatever reason they sue everybody, and you happen to end up in their crosshairs.
Yeah, they're like professional scam artists. They'll find a way to get money out of you.
Yep.
Well, I think it's great. So if you need legal counsel, if you want to do it in a way that you can control and you can budget into one of your line items, give this guy a call or better yet, go on the website, reiblaw.com, and check it out. You're here locally, right?
Yeah, I'm just up the road in Denton.
There you go. So that is the best way if somebody just contacted via the website.
Yeah, reiblaw.com, REIBLAW.com. You can also find me on social media too. I'm real easy to find. On Instagram, I'm the Scott Reib, and just reach out to us, send us a message, and we'll get back with you.
That was actually one of my questions I was going to ask you real quickly is how big is social media for your business?
Oh, it's huge.
Really?
Huge.
Yep. I would never thought that a law firm would be as big as it is, but I guess things have changed. Mm-hmm. It's almost like now it's the yellow pages in a way. You can just look somebody up on the social media about all you want.
It's the yellow pages and like the Dewey Decimal System and everything wrapped up into one.
Everything.
It's interactive yellow pages. So
That's
they're
true.
Constantly communicating with us through that channel.
I like that. All right, we'll take a break, come back. Been all across the country for one reason, and basically to raise awareness for women entrepreneurs. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Your experts in business throughout North Texas. 620 AM, KEXB.